What's going on, people? Welcome back to AFTV. I've got the whole team with me to preview this Saturday's game against Brighton at the Amex, a 5:30 kickoff. The Seagulls this Saturday will see goals, let me tell you that, and it'll be from Arsenal. I'm prepping. We're all here with the look at Turkish's face, man. Smile, man. That's a good one, man. I really worked on that one.
Smiling. I wish the camera was on me before you said that, because I was smiling and then I was feeling sick.
The Seagulls are Seagulls.
He was smiling.
I quite like it.
Thank
you,
That's
James.
actually not. That's okay.
That's original, you know.
I was cringing.
Why are you? That's original material. The Seagulls were Seagulls. Anyway, let's get into this straight away.
That's not bad.
That's a CBBC thing.
I know. He said worse though.
I have said worse.
For sure.
He could host like Blue Peter though, this guy.
I don't, because when I first started,
that type of
I
guy.
had that role all the time. Oh, Cecil's from CVBs. Anyway, we're not here for that. Let's talk football.
CBBs, yeah.
Laurie, let's start with you. Brighton, how you feeling obviously off the back of a 2-0 win against Luton? Confident or a bit wary of Brighton?
I'm confident. I'm confident enough. We will need to raise the levels though from the game against Luton. With the Luton game, I'm still slightly conflicted. I can't work out whether did we coast in that second half, or I don't know. I'd be interested to hear what you guys say, because I don't know. I do think we need to up the levels if we're going to beat Brighton, because Brighton are a better team than Luton. That's obvious, and they will be at home. And you know, they have done well against us there previously. I think they're on a little unbeaten run at home at the moment.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
they are.
So we will definitely need to lift our levels. But I do think we've got that within us to do that. So,
I don't always say this, but I'd love to have been a fly on the wall of the dressing room. Obviously, we always want to hear I think after the documentary, it was good seeing the way Arteta addressed these matches or whatever. I'd love to have seen his post-match after that game. Because in so many ways, you go 9 wins and a draw in like your last 10, changes made, coasting, and no point did Luton really do a lot. But I just can't shake this feeling that Arteta would have wanted still more from that game.
Really?
Yeah, I do. And I'm not talking more goals, because the Arsenal fans are getting on to me, as you know. All in the comments, what, you want 5-0 every game? It's not that, but Arteta's football is based on control, possession, playing in the right areas of the pitch. And I'm with Laurie.
Right? Did you feel uneasy at all?
They did nothing, but like, I think you never want to tempt fate. Okay. You know, a deflected cross back of your net and suddenly it all gets a bit nervy. And I think you can have spells of 10 minutes where you get into a good shape and you weather a storm, but a whole half of Luton having the ball. So I think Arsenal were in total control of the affair in terms of, I think we always, after that second goal, I think we were all very comfortable, despite me kind of not being impressed by the performance for a lot of it. But I'd love to know what Arteta would have said. Would he have just gone, job done guys, well done, forget it? Or would there have been we can't go 45 minutes without touching the ball in their half. Like, and I know that's an exaggerative way of putting it. But yeah, I'd love to have heard what he thought. But ultimately it's done and dusted.
Yeah, with the changes he made, I'm sure he probably would be thinking, congratulate the boys, and just kind of maybe looking forward to this Brighton game. I wanted to say, 14 games unbeaten at home, Brighton are at the Amex. In the last 5 we played in the head-to-head record, we've lost more than we've won against Brighton. The one at 6 with my mind is, I know it's not at their place, but when they came to the Emirates and beat us 3-0, that actually burned. It still burns me today. I can't believe they came here and just dominated us. But Turkish, with that and all the information you know from the head-to-head and the previous results, how are you feeling for this? Is it for you quite, straight down the line? Is it just business as usual against Brighton, or are there a team that they could cause us problems that you're quite worried about?
I think since we've been a top team, and that's been the last couple of years, we've dealt with Brighton quite well. Aside from that 3-0, and the thing about that 3-0 is that probably hurt me the least of the few Brighton wins over the years.
It was done
because it was done and dusted. It was just the final nail in the coffin. Whereas there was a couple before that, towards the end of the season, whether it was
Southampton
a
draws,
top
West
4.
Ham draw.
No, but I mean Brighton top 4 race. I think 1 year they beat us. Or 2 years they beat us. With Basuma laughing in one of them pictures as well. I remember something like that. So they've had their fair share, but we're a top team now, man. And I look at Brighton and I think this season they've been pretty inconsistent. They're conceding chances you can definitely create against them. They will come for you. They will go at it, but I think that works in our favour. It's just that going back to the Luton game, I look at us in attack, and it was a bit like the first half of the season, Arsenal. where you've talked about the possession, and sometimes in the second half of games, in the first half of this, like Nottingham Forest, for example, we was in control still, but more recently we found a better way of controlling.
Nottingham Forest is a good
Forest
example.
game is a great example. Yeah. Thank you. I've been wondering, what was it? You're so right. That first game of the season, 2-0 up, comfortable, not playing our best, and then it's all good, and then Forest get us on the counter. And that's happened with Forest when we went there. And that's why I'm just like, you don't always want to take your foot off the gas, because Forest, who did nothing in either of those games, bang, got a goal in each. So things happen.
A 2-goal lead, though, makes you feel
and we won those games, didn't we?
More comfortable, yeah.
For sure.
Like, if they get one, they get one. It's what it is.
I was wondering. I was like, I'm sure there's been examples, and there you go. That was the one. But I actually slightly disagree with you, Turkish, on the whole. That 3-0 Brighton defeat hurting the least last season compared to the others. That one got me because we had our bad patch.
Yeah.
City. And then Arsenal, almost like they shook it off and went, at least let's just end on a high. Yep. And I thought, get to 90 points. This team deserves to get to 90 points. It's a small thing. You don't get a trophy for it, but just at least push City all the way.
But that's why, so you remember how I felt at the time. Once it was done for me, it was done. Like, I don't give a fuck. 85 points, 90.
No, of course, but
your perspective's different on it. That's why for you it probably mattered more.
Totally. It's not that it would have mattered as such. It's just that I wanted to know this team weren't going to throw in the towel. We're going to take it, make City earn it. All right, we had our bad patch, but we were still within points of them. We still needed to keep them honest, and we didn't. And by beating Chelsea at home, Newcastle the way we did, I thought, fair play. You're showing that you're still a part of it. Then we go and lose at home 3-0 to Brighton. Then we go and lose at Forest. And we handed it to them. We literally gave them the title. They didn't have to work for it at the end. So that one did hurt me last season. But it really hurt Arteta. Don't know if you remember his post-match. He was furious. He was like, I thought we'd left this behind. Like, I thought we would be on these performances. And I think a lot of what we saw in the summer was based on that game. And that sounds really dramatic. But the way the game plan, if you remember that game, first half, we didn't play badly. I think it was 0-0 at half time. We didn't play badly. It was about, winning the ball high up the pitch, transitions, controlling Brighton. But we weren't clinical enough. And then we lost faith a little bit in it, and Brighton put us to bed playing some good football and tore us apart in the second half. I think a lot of the Raya signing, Havertz being able to go long, Declan Rice to control midfield with his energy, a lot of it is based on the way we fell away in that Brighton game as well. So, yeah, it was a bad one, and I think we've got to put it right.
Definitely, it felt like Mikel Arteta got found out in that game in some way. That's how I feel. It hurt me, and I know, you said Turkish, not for you, because it was done by then. We lost to City 4-1.
No, it still hurts. You don't want to see it, but losing at home to Brighton like that is mad.
It's crazy.
But I mean, in terms of, there's a couple more losses against Brighton where there was something on the line, albeit a top 4 or something. Like
the others were more achievable.
At the time of losing to Brighton, them times I was still in with very much hope and belief that we might get top 4, I think it was one season.
Brighton, so Basuma, the Basuma one you mentioned, we drew 1-1 that game, and I think we gave away a penalty, typical.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, and we were 1-0 up, we drew 1-1, and that basically put it in Tottenham's hands.
I remember that,
Oh no, it ended it. It didn't put it in their hands, it ended it.
Yeah.
We would have.
So on that, I want to come to you, Laurie, and before we go into the players at Brighton that I'm kind of got to keep an eye out for, the difference now from last season to this season, going into this game, for you, what is the standout difference? Because people can say, there's loads of things, but I feel, as a fan, even much as I enjoyed last season, I feel completely different. I feel very relaxed, going into this title race. I feel quite calm going to Brighton away. A lot of people say, you've got to respect Brighton. You're always big on respecting clubs, and rightly so, but as a fan, I'm quite chill. What is the difference, to start with you, Lloyd, from last season to now, going into this?
Well, it's quite simple. The difference is we're a better team. I mean, and the signing of Declan Rice has epitomised that. We are a better team, stronger team, mentally stronger, physically stronger.
Some would argue Partey, though, in there is before Declan Rice keeps this team as strong as it is. But you just think it's just a better team?
Yeah, we're more experienced. We're a better team. I mean, look at the defence. It's impenetrable at the moment. Brilliant.
Yeah.
And we are a better team. The only slight concern I have, if you remember, just after Dubai, where we went on that tear and we were smoking teams 3, 4, 5s, and then that kind of culminated in the 6-0 win against Sheffield United. But if you look at the recent form, and this is why I was saying against Luton, I did have some concerns. So I think we've had 4 games since then. We've had the Brentford game, the Porto game, the City game, which is a different type of game, and again last night. I would argue, respectfully, that those With the City game's an exception because we had to play a different style of football. And we got the result, and I was made up about it.
I'm agreeing with everything you're about to say.
But if you look at those performances, bro, they've not been at the levels that we were hitting. And I'm trying not to be overly critical. People will be watching this, would you? Listen, you know what I mean? Let's keep it 100. The performances have not been stellar. If you look at the Brentford game, we weren't great. We got a goal at the end there, courtesy of Havertz, but I would argue that was a goalkeeping error. As much as anything else, he kind of flapped it went in. We wasn't overly convincing. The Porto game, come on, bro. Like, we won that on penalties. A lot of people saying, yeah, when we get them back to the Emirates, we're going to do this. We didn't do it. The City game, I'll give you the team a lot of credit. They went there in the cauldron, got the result. But the performance wasn't, like, hey, I'm good with that. And then last night, like, Luton, come on, bro. Like, 2-0 up at half-time. We were registering something like 80% possession. So you're thinking, second half now, we're really going to up the levels, put Luton to the sword. If anything, Luton played better in that second half than we did. Now, did we coast? Did we have it in the bag? Did we have that attitude whereby, look, listen, we got this covered. As long as Luton don't get out of their box and score a goal, then we can... I don't know.
It's just an observation.
Yeah, it's an observation.
It's not a criticism. It's an observation. I agree with you. Those games had different pressures. Brentford winning, you go top of the league. Porto winning, you go through to the quarters for the first time in 14 years. City, get a point, get a draw, get a result, and you stay ahead of them. And this one was heavy rotation. There's context all four.
Yeah, exactly.
So hopefully we bring the players back. We slap up Brighton. I think they're a very good team.
But we're going to have to up the level, which is what I said
rate
initially.
De Zerbi. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many people in the conversation around the big six sides give De Zerbi and Brighton the respect they deserve, but I certainly am one of them. Like, I think he's done a tremendous job. I think Brighton are a really, really good side, and I know on their day they can just be poor because
they can be hit and miss.
They can be hit and miss.
114 changes to their 11 this season.
More than any other team, right?
Bro,
comfortably more.
Crazy. That's crazy numbers, by the way.
But do you not think take Brighton and West Ham right now, where they're on the table. There's nothing in them. I think Brighton are within a win of them. I think they've got a game less. Which fans are having more fun this season? Like, and I know that
Brighton, West Ham.
I would argue
Definitely
Brighton.
Yeah, Brighton.
Now, West Ham fans might say, with all due respect, we have higher aspirations. Well,
they're a hard lot to please as well.
But West Ham, it feels like they win, and there still is the style of football quite right. Like, for me, Brighton, they have their best players plucked, their staff, their managers, everything taken from them. And then they'll record profits. They'll bring in another crop of brilliant youngsters. They'll keep playing the same way they entertain. They could have lost that game at Anfield 5-0. They actually could have. They also could have snuck it 2-1 with the chances, or drawn 2-2 at the end with Danny Welbeck, because they always have a go and they play exciting football. I expect them to cause us problems, but I expect us to cause them more.
What's different from last season to this season for you?
So, yeah, everything Laurie said, better team, more focused, more defence wins titles element to the way we're playing, I think.
Anything else that you can that's obscure?
I think Bayern Munich and being in the quarters of the Champions League is a good thing for us. I think it's last season, I'm sorry, Robbie, don't sack me. I'd never bought into the bigger fish to fry.
I think many of us didn't.
Yeah, listen to De Bruyne talk about momentum and playing lots of games was good for them in the run-in.
Steve says that,
yeah, I don't think it's good to get a game, 90 minutes, our season depends on it, yes, we get the win. Now we've got to wait for a week to the next one. I think it's good to be constantly playing, to get the players out on the pitch. We've got the squad we've got. So I just think the fact that this 90 minutes this weekend doesn't define our season. It's massive if we drop points. I think it will massively knock our confidence. Doesn't end our season. And I do think the players are playing with that element of there's a lot of football to be played, and I think that's a good thing.
I like that. Turkish. For you, I mean, there's been a lot of answers. I think they're all correct. There's no wrong answer here, but
yeah, the transfer window made us better. I'd probably say better squad rather than better team, because I think if you added Jesus and Partey top form into the team this year, we are an even better team than we've shown this year, because they add something. But it's a shame that we haven't had Partey for the majority, and Jesus up down when he's back, he's not the same. Knees could be a long-term thing. We'll find that. Better squad for sure though.
Yeah,
more equipped to tackle different tactics, different setups, different problems.
Yeah.
What you mentioned about Havertz, Rice, and even Timber. We forget Timber was a signing. We can talk about him in terms of what Arteta wanted to do, and I think we can see what Timber would have added.
Did you hear Arteta's quotes on him the other day?
No.
He was like, he gives us something no one in our backline gives from an attacking perspective.
I didn't see that either. I listened to everything he said recently.
I mean, yeah, I'm excited for him next season. We'll see the best of him.
He's our left back next season, I think.
Yeah, so
I think he's our left back.
He was incredible in pre-season.
And going back to what we said, or what we were saying on Forever, now knowing those quotes, I think Jordan's right. I think Zinchenko's probably, in his last couple of months for us.
We've outgrown.
I don't want to make this about him, but I'm just now I know that quote. It's like
links to Diomande as well. How many defenders can he have?
Tomiyasu extension.
I think if you look, you're talking Zinchenko for last night. Kind of summed up Zinchenko in many ways. He did some really good things.
He was fine.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
No, hang on.
But that sums up Zinchenko.
Let me land.
Not that bad, not that good.
Listen, I was advocating for him to play yesterday, so I like Zinchenko. But what I'm saying is, if you analyse his performance yesterday, it summed him up. Like going forward, he looked innovative. He was trying to do things that some of the other defenders wouldn't even think of doing. He can play that inverted role. But then there were other times, the lapses of concentration, giving the ball away. There was one occasion in the first half where he kind of, I don't know, I can only call it as a momentary lapse, where he didn't see the Luton attacker snuck up behind him, and he could have got in behind. Now, if that had been a team with a bit more quality, that mistake could have proved to be a lot more costly than it was. Yeah. So,
Agreed. Listen, it's probably the time now to kind of go into the Predicted 11 segment of this preview. But I think you're right. I think, sadly, I want to quickly just touch on this. I think Zinchenko and Jesus were slowly outgrowing these players. It sounds mad, because I spoke about it on the round preview, that they were so transformative for Arsenal last season, but it feels like now we're going into another phase where, like you said, Timber come back in, probably push out Zinchenko, a striker.
Then again, I rethink that, because when I look at it, really, Tomiyasu, Ben White will probably be right back options. If you was to look at it black and white, which you can't with the setup Arteta has, because all defenders are. Then you'd have Kivior behind Gabriel, and then it'd be Zinchenko behind Timber, and Saliba's, and then Tomiyasu. They can cover. So maybe there is still a role.
Maybe.
It's interesting, because I was. I don't want to hog this part of the debate, but I was chatting to Curtis. Shout out to Curtis. Hope you don't mind if I betray your confidence a little bit. But we were talking about Zinchenko, and he made a good point to me. He was saying he wouldn't be surprised if he moves on at the end of the season, because he was saying that it's just looking like his time has come, where Arsenal might be looking at bringing somebody else in for that role. So.
Thank you. I'm going to give you just some of the... We're going to go into Predict 11, but just give you some of the players that are out for Brighton, just in case it influences a lot of tacticians here on the sofa. You guys like to analyse well. So let's give you the players that are out for Brighton. Hinzelwood, they're saying Ferguson's probably going to be ruled out as well. Sully March with a knee injury. Matoma has been out for a long time, back injury. Billy Gilmore as well. And I don't think James Milner's going to make it either for the game. For Arsenal...
We've had injury problems all year as well.
Yeah. So for Arsenal, Timber obviously, as we're aware, Saka, we don't really know. I'm assuming Saka's back, if I'm going to be completely honest, but I think that's it for Arsenal. Really just Timber that we're waiting on. Players that to keep an eye out for when it comes to Brighton. Danny Welbeck's probably going to do something, just because for Arsenal, and
He's got 4 goals against us recently. Yeah. He's 4 out of his last 5 games against Arsenal. He scored.
And I like João Pedro, so I always think he's a player of quality. So someone I'd be looking out for if I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm looking at players that can cause us danger. All right, people, it's time for the Predicted 11. I've got my glamorous assistant here, man in the app, the AFTV Plus app.
Glamorous assistant, thank you.
James, if you could just, mate, look, we've got a nice fan zone there.
Look at that. Join us. That's where you join us on Fan Zone. Click on that one on the AFTV Plus app. There you go, tells you when the next game is. Who's your man of the match versus Luton, Smith Rowe? There we go, 50% of people agree. Good. Build your 11, rate your Gunners, watch the latest video. Look, there we all are.
Look at you models, look at you lot. Turkish is red in the face.
Very passionate.
I'm not modelling, that's mid-vex.
Vexed.
You're modelling, look, what are you looking at? What are you actually looking at? The camera's there and you're looking that way.
What? That's what bro, let me just... Sometimes you know what I mean? I've got to sell the merch. I don't know what the fuck I'm looking into the light. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's go.
I look like I misheard the photographer. Like...
Yeah, you look like, what would you say, mate?
Anyway.
Oh, Believe, here he is. And his title for this one was Still Believe. All right, let's get into Predicted 11. Very simple. We're going to, like David Raya, right? Turkish.
Yeah.
We discussed him and Laurie as well in the preview, and you said, if he has another one of these.
If he has another one of these?
Yeah, like with misplacing passes.
No, I said that, the ball his performance with the ball at his feet wasn't great, but I've never for once said if he has another one, I'd drop him. Okay. If that's what you're going to say. No, because I know that ship has sailed. We all know, Ro. Agreed. It's Raya for the rest of the season.
But did he play well enough against Luton for you to...
Yeah, he didn't play badly, did he? He's not going to get dropped.
He didn't really do anything. Okay, cool. So Raya in goal, standard. Yeah?
Yeah. Are we predicting? Is this what we think Arteta will go with, or is it R11? I think we should do what we think Arteta will do.
Yeah, I like that. I think we should do what we think Arteta's going to go with. I think that's the best way to do it. We can talk about who we'd like, but...
And we all know, come on, Raya's going to start, unless some godforsaken thing happens.
Might as well slot in the centre-backs as well.
Yeah,
Gabriel, Saliba in there.
So, there is Saliba, there's Gabriel. Cool.
And Benjamin.
Over Tomiyasu.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll play Ben, but could he be tempted to make a change to rest him?
I think Ben White's becoming an stalwart.
I don't think Ben White looks like he needs a rest.
Yeah,
he just had 2 weeks
even
off,
against Luton, did you see that little...
Oh, that skill was mad.
Yeah.
That was good feet. But he lost it just before. I know, crazy. He lost it just before.
And that was not late in the second half, mid-second half. So he still had...
There are certain players in your team, right, that are going to be like, first names on the team sheet, and he's one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's this one where it gets tricky, boys. I'll be real. Left back now, Zinny.
Zinny just played against Luton. That's his game done.
That's it done.
Yeah, that's him. That's his game done, isn't it?
But is it? Oh, you agree?
Really?
Even if you think we might dominate possessions.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's me.
Well,
then.
You don't know. You don't think? Yeah, he's out of there, man.
You're sounding like Curtis when I spoke to him.
I'm telling you that.
I gave him charity minutes. He said, "No, you play, man."
You know what it is, though? It's interesting that we're having this debate, because if you remember, when Zinchenko came into the team, when he come from City, he was seen as one of those kind of mentality monsters who were going to take us to this next level. And here we are now, we're saying that, the team's evolved, and basically we're saying he might be at the end of his career at Arsenal.
Yeah.
He'll play some minutes this season between now and the rest of the season, but I would actually be surprised if he starts another game.
Interesting.
Not massively surprised, but I think Tomiyasu and Kyrgios
Who would Brighton's wingers be tomorrow?
Adingra.
Adingra, he's a good player.
They play Lallana centrally, so I don't really know what else
Adingra will be on the left, innit? So
probably Buonanotte coming on his left foot. I think Kyrgios. I'm predicting.
I think he needs to be a bit more defensively sound. I just don't know.
Tommy needs to start.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Tomiyasu. I mean, listen,
what do we think it will be?
Yeah.
Predict. Who do you think will start?
Tomiyasu.
Kyrgios.
Tomiyasu.
I'm 50-50 with Kyrgios and Tommy, so I'll go Tomiyasu.
I don't think it will be Zinchenko, put it that way.
Yeah.
So that means we're saying...
Damn, Zinny didn't deserve this on this video, man.
Yeah, he didn't. I like Zinchenko as well.
No, we all like him, bro, but I'm just saying, it would appear. I mean, look, what you've said today echoes exactly what Curtis was saying this morning to me on the phone.
I think we've grown past these players. Let's go into midfield. Partey or Jorginho? Partey
for me.
But he doesn't seem to do it.
I think he plays Jorginho and Rice.
Yeah, he doesn't. As much as we all want to see it, Partey, Rice and Odegaard, it's like, no.
That was Partey's first start, and I think he done well. Don't think he was great, but I think he done well. And you consider it's Luton, I think Brighton away, control, Jorginho makes sense.
I wouldn't have a problem with Jorginho, but let me tell you why I think Partey needs to get more minutes, because I think we're going to need him down the stretch, and I think if we don't give him enough minutes, he looks like one of those guys. He needs to be in a rhythm. He needs to be in some kind of groove, because when he's one of those guys that when he comes back from injury, it takes him time to get up to speed. So if we have another game where you leave him out, it's more catch-up time. I'd rather start him than if it ain't quite working, then you bring Jorginho.
Your answer comes here. Who starts against
I wouldn't mind Partey starting.
I'm saying Partey.
Your answer will come from who starts against Bayern.
This is it. I started Jorginho on the weekend because I'd start Partey against Bayern. It might be a bit soon for him, but come on, we're here now. Quarters, let's go for it.
That's how you get your answer.
If we can get Partey to that level, then that's our best team going out against Bayern.
Okay, so who do you start against? That's how you find the answer, I think, for this.
As I said before, I think if we're gonna do what we want to do, Partey's going to be an integral part of that, and I think he needs to get more minutes. He's gaining some momentum now in terms of minutes. Keep him in for Saturday.
I think that's Jorginho. So you think it'll be Jorginho?
Yeah, I think Partey starts against Bayern, but yeah.
All right, and then Odegaard, of course.
Yes.
Odegaard.
Where is he?
Got another
Captain.
goal last night.
Odegaard, Jorginho, Rice, great finish.
Okay.
Front three gets interesting then.
Oh, well, the wings shouldn't be.
Saka,
Martinelli.
But
Come on, man.
So,
Bro, it was a cut, so it's done.
true. Jesus, not on the left.
You're right. It doesn't feel like a muscle pull where it might rear its head again.
Yeah.
The gash isn't going to open up again.
No, hopefully not.
Stop, smart. Just let every time it gets you.
Well, that's my medical expertise.
All right. So up front, is it Jesus or Havertz?
I wouldn't be wholly surprised at being Trossard. I'd be a little bit surprised, but I wouldn't be massively surprised.
I wouldn't either.
Wasn't that long ago he was playing Trossard false nine. Havertz played a lot of football. Does he want to keep Jesus for Bayern? I think it will be Jesus though.
So do I.
I think he will give Havertz.
And I think he deserves it.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he deserves it. Well, he started against City. They had put in a hell of a lot of work. He was basically left wing back for the majority of that game. Didn't get any minutes against Luton. No,
he didn't come on. Didn't come on.
Yeah, I think
but
start.
that aerial presence that Havertz provides.
I think if Jesus
so
starts
key.
and has a solid 60 minutes with a nice goal in there and a nice moment or two, there's a strong argument he starts against Bayern. And I think you need to give Jesus that chance, because as much as we talk about Havertz Champions League final goal in Europe and big moments, Jesus' record in Champions League for City and us, it's been great. So
if we look at this side, are we basically saying that maybe flip Jorginho for an informed, fully fit Partey?
Yeah.
And we've probably got our best 11
Yeah.
for the first time this season.
Well, Timber, Tommy.
Yeah, Tommy,
But I think the only reason I hesitate with Timber is because Tommy's been so good.
Yeah.
And we're yet to see Timber.
No, but you're right.
But
You're right.
Yeah, that's it. That's a strong 11. It's who dominates possession at the Amex? Is it going to be? I know we normally do, but do you think it's going to go like that?
It has to be us.
Yeah, I think that team shows it.
Can I suggest one more thing you might do?
Go.
Which would just be peak Arteta. I think
Ramsdale up front.
No, I think you might do this. Bring Havertz into midfield if he's going to give Jesus the minutes.
Yeah, because
he will do anything to get Kai Havertz into this team.
I've said that before.
That's a good point.
That's interesting that you should say that, because I remember I said that a couple of weeks ago.
He will do anything because he's played a lot of international football. And listen, Kai's deserved his place in the team up till now. I just think now it's time to rotate, and he should be one of them.
To put Rice back in at 6 after he's
how do you think he played yesterday?
Coaching at 8
against Luton.
He was poor against Luton. Let's be honest. Good assist for.
How do you think he played against City?
Well, I was happy with his work ethic,
physical,
and he got stuck in. And he did some okay things.
He's just doing. He's just doing.
Yeah.
What
I think it might be time to have a look at Jesus again.
But I thought he was really good against Porto, Brentford. So Havertz is just, and he's done well on international duty. So look, this isn't a. I'm not hating on Havertz when I say take him out for this one. I just think everyone is clearly getting their minutes, rotated and managed well, other than the one core of the pitch you can't touch, your centre-backs and your goalkeeper. I
will say though, if Jesus does start, I'm not always a stat man like that, but I do need to see an assist or a goal from him. I love the street football, I love watching him on the eye, but you need to start putting numbers on the board if you started this game against Brighton, in my opinion.
Again?
Let me just get score prediction from the right. Go, Laurie.
I'm going for an Arsenal win.
2-1.
It might be tight though, because I do think Brighton will test us for sure. 2-1 Arsenal.
It's a 2-1 or 3-1 game. I just can't decide what one it is going to be. I'm going to go 3-1 to be different, because I heard you say something about 2-1. Turkish, go you first.
3-1, very different.
Yeah.
Damn. James, you're going to go 2-1.
That extra goal. 2-1 Arsenal.
Right,
I think they score.
Fair. Okay, well, 2-1, 3-1, 3-1, 2-1. That's our predictions. Mikel Arteta unbeaten in his last 10. Congratulations to him. Let us know your comments. Let us know your score predictions in the comments below. And if you agree with our 11, what you think Mikel Arteta will go with?
It was this.
Oh yeah, sorry. Let's put back.
But it wouldn't surprise me.
Lovely. Let us know if you agree with the 11 we think Arteta is going to go with. Please tag us as well. Go on the AFTV Plus app, build your 11s, tag us so we can share it and bring it up in the Start 11 show. Thank you for joining us for this preview. Let's hope Arsenal can get the win this weekend and continue on the title race. Take care, everyone. Peace.